Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner Football Fans podcast. On today's podcast, Rob's buddy Scotty Stevens is back on with us. He came in from California, came into the podcast room to talk a little bit of Sooner football with us. We talked Kyler Murray and Austin Kendall. Is there really a quarterback battle? Also, the defense. Is it more of the same, or are we getting any better? Sooner Football Fans is not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, but we do have eligibility left. Boomer. Hey, Sooner Football Fans. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer up.
Boomer Terry.
And today, a return of a special guest back on the podcast. Here in the podcast room, studio. My wife laughs at us when we call it studio, but so it's the podcast room. Is all the way from Los Angeles, Scotty Stevens. Boomer, Scotty.
Boomer, Terry. Boomer, Rob.
Boomer.
And we also have a special guest hanging out in the corner who might speak up if he thinks we're nuts on a particular topic, like our shirts. But a roughneck himself, Rhett Mixon. Boomer, Rhett.
Boomer.
So, Rob, how was your weekend?
You know, it was all right. I didn't do a whole lot. Just kind of hung around the house. No golf because obviously it rained. Although I'm not opposed to playing golf in the rain. I have a funny joke, but I'll save you guys. But yeah, just sit around and watch some TV and did a bunch of laundry.
Scotty, what'd you do? You all traveled in this weekend, right?
Yeah. I brought the family out. Kind of a last-minute setup family reunion up at my brother's house in Claremore near Tulsa. From what I remember, most of it was pretty good. The whole family was there, more than was expected, actually. And
Did they all just come to see you, or
everybody? I think this might be the third time in 40 years that all my brothers and sisters have been together in one place at the same time. So yeah, it was kind of special. And my mom and dad renewed their wedding vows, and sorta, and yeah, and then other than that, the police never had to get involved, which is really weird.
especially when you have family gatherings,
right?
No fights, no.
Yeah, my older sister did try to fight all her enemies from the '80s for but I don't know. It was a fun weekend though. It was good to see a lot of old family I haven't seen in a lot of years. Some of them never met my son and my daughter, but
cool.
That was kind of nice.
Rhett, what about you? Did anything exciting go on in the world of the Roughnecks or in the world of Rhett?
All the Roughnecks are out of town right now, so it's been pretty boring lately.
So you're the only Roughneck in town?
Yeah, one of like two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look out, ladies.
Yeah. You want to give out your phone number?
I will not be doing that.
So, Rob, we were
Feel free to add him, though, on Twitter.
All the pretty ladies, right? Okay, they can't hear you nod your head, Rhett. You're on radio.
Yes.
What's your major?
Industrial and Systems Engineering.
But you don't know to talk into a microphone.
And that's why he's in the corner.
Last time I come on this podcast.
So, Rob, you remember last week we talked about what comes on tonight?
No.
Better Call Saul.
Oh, is that on again tonight? I still haven't seen the first one, whatever it's called. What's it called?
Better Call Saul.
Pilot.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. But
see, I'm lingo. I'm
Caleb hooked me up to another show.
Uh-oh.
That's been out on Amazon. Rhett, you may have heard of it. Ozark.
Seen it. Seen the whole thing. Seen the whole thing.
And why haven't you told me about this show?
It was just okay.
Wow. It didn't snag my
It was just
interest.
all right.
Yeah, I loved it.
What is
Oh, it's kind of freaky, a little bit weird. With what's the guy's name?
Ozarks and freaky and weird. Wouldn't have really guessed that.
Yeah, no, really, it kind of is.
Yeah,
he's a money launderer, and he's laundering money for the mob, and he goes to the Ozarks to do it.
Ozarks,
and it's just
of all places. Sorry.
Well, he was fixing to get assassinated because his partner was stealing, and he just happened to have a flyer and said, "We were fixing to present this to you. We can launder millions at Lake of the Ozarks," which none of them had thought about it. So he has to.
I mean, it's not Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
if you're into binge watching on Netflix, which since I have no life. Hey, on the bright side,
Or wife.
Texas is only losing by 2.
Yeah.
Rangers. Okay, clarify that.
Yeah.
You don't say on the good
Right.
side, bright side, Texas.
Rangers.
The Rangers.
Most time I call them strangers.
They have been this year. Strangers to winning.
Strangers to winning.
So I still don't understand, how either one of y'all can like a team from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the media market. It was National League. It was Atlanta.
You either watched
American
Atlanta
League,
or
it
you
was
watched the
Rough
Rangers
Rangers.
when we were
That was it.
kids.
Well, I was the same way, but
But you still became a St. Louis fan.
yeah, St. Louis man. Same way with the Cowboys. In this market, it's still the same. You either watch the Cowboys or the Chiefs.
The Chefs.
Yeah, or you might get a game. So that's why you get DirecTV and watch whatever you want.
Well, like back in the early 80s, we didn't get that. We got the Rangers or we got the Braves.
I think
So you kind of became a fan of one or the other. And it just so happened I kind of became a fan of both of
both.
them.
Yeah, that's what we did.
So
I think short of a couple of years with the Nigerian nightmare in Kansas City, I really didn't have any interest in watching the Chiefs. Those couple of years when he was barreling.
What was his name?
Sorry, who?
Christian Okoye.
Yeah, there you
Whoa,
go.
pull that one right out of the hat. Look at that.
That
Christian
was
Okoye.
that was a beast of a man.
What was he, like
Yeah.
280?
Yeah, and
6'4",
and he had never
running
played
fullback?
and he never played football until like college,
Yeah.
because I think he played soccer.
He was just he was just a
Beast.
ugh.
Had that big old neck roll,
Yeah.
and then big old shoulder pads.
They don't wear those anymore.
I know, but anyway, let's get on to some Sooner talk.
Yeah, don't talk about hot dogs.
Don't talk about how. I don't know where that came from.
I don't either. Have we ever talked about hot dogs?
I don't know.
I don't think we've ever talked about hot dogs.
One of our Facebook followers said he enjoys our podcast as long as we don't talk about hot dogs. So, don't know what that means. But let's jump into real quickly the offense. Let's start off with the talk of what's going on with the quarterback battle. Kyler Murray or Austin Kendall? Scotty, what are your thoughts moving forward right now? As where we sit, 2 weeks into the 10 days into the...
Yeah, I think at the beginning, when we started talking about during the spring, I thought it was Kyler Murray's to lose. And of course, Kyler had there are some question marks that, not his arm strength, certainly not. His speed, certainly not. Accuracy, he's shown some good accuracy. I think most of the questions anybody had was from his A&M days, and it was, does he like to take a hit, and will he take a hit, and can he handle a hit if he takes it? Those kind of questions. But in recent weeks, the more chatter I'm hearing is that competition's a little tighter than people really expect it to be.
Right, and that's what Riley, I guess, said on Friday.
Is it though?
There's very little drop off. They're two completely different guys. That Kendall is more efficient, and Murray brings a level of explosiveness that'll be tough for defenses to match. Well, we figured that out on our own. But the big thing is the deep throws, and Riley brought that point up. We scored 44 points per game last year. The Sooners to go deep, and what he says is they're throwing it real good right now, but we have to be able to throw the ball deep. So I think it's going to come down.
So are you saying that he's saying
He has said
that they're saying no?
no,
Are you saying that Kyler can't throw deep and Austin can?
no. He's saying that it's going to. I think it's going to come down to who can throw the deep ball,
Okay.
because they've got to throw it deep. He wants to throw it deep.
Well, in my opinion, everything he's saying is very generic, and they're being really tight-lipped about, Kyler's the starter, or, he's not really going to, however it comes out. We're not going to know probably till
Week of the game.
Week of the game.
if then.
But do you think do you think it's all just BS? Do you think he's really just saying this because you look at it? We know. Well, we think we know. We've seen what Kyler can do running the ball, okay? And he's going to bring that aspect to it. But in Lincoln's offense, it's a deep ball. He wants to throw the deep ball. He brought it out in his little coaches speak on Friday.
You're me.
I think I mean, I don't doubt that Kyler Murray can throw the deep ball. I mean, how accurate he can be, I think, is the question because we haven't really seen him have to go that deep. But expecting him to be as accurate as Baker Mayfield, who broke the NCAA efficiency record through 2 straight years, I think it'd be a far stretch to expect to be that accurate.
So what do we, as what Riley said, is, not Lincoln. It has been said that some of the coaches says one is more efficient, Kendall, one is more explosive, Kyler. So, which one do we want? Do we want an efficient, move the ball down the field, throw it deep when we have to, or do we want explosive, triple option?
I think if that's the question, I think that you start with Kyler Murray then. Because you've got to answer that question. How deep is he accurate throwing the ball? But I think being explosive like he is gives you so much more options.
It does.
At offense.
Here's the truth of it, I think. Lincoln Riley cannot afford to say the battle is over. It belongs to one or the other. Because his whole thing is next man up. He's going to play the best man in the position, no matter if it's, freshman through senior, right?
Right.
So he can't say it's over because he needs all those guys that are still vying for spots to understand that they still have that shot.
Right.
And the quarterback's included. So
he's just leading everybody along.
No, I think the battle is the best man's going to win it.
Yeah.
And I don't think they know who that is yet.
I agree with you. I don't think they know. I mean, I think they had the rathers. I think they would rather Kyler start because it's going to be more difficult to defend. But if they're able to march down the field efficiently with what we've got.
If Kyler can throw it accurately, he's the man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
He's the man. But you know as well as I do that offense is predicated on accuracy.
Yeah.
So.
And this could also be a way to keep the offense, everybody else on the offense engaged too.
Right.
Sure.
I mean, let's not just dedicate ourselves to one specific quarterback and, you keep your wide receivers, your tight ends, and your offensive linemen kind of engaged with everybody that's involved in the fight. It can't be anything but a positive later on.
Another thing is they haven't brought out but they've talked about it as far as not at the quarterback spot. They've talked about it in general as leadership. Which one of them is commanding the huddle? They haven't talked about that yet.
Not at all.
Which one of them is demanding the respect in the huddle and on the field? That's going to play into it too. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep.
So
and who's making plays? I mean, you're not going to keep Kyler Murray from making plays. It's just not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
But is he doing it with his legs only? Because that's the catalyst.
Right. Again, and that's I remember when he played at A&M, and that was a knock. People were concerned with whether or not he would take a hit or he could take a hit.
Right.
He's almost as tall as Baker Mayfield. Not quite. He's not as thick as Baker Mayfield was.
He's not as thick as most anything.
Then you can get into the head games after that.
He's getting pretty thick.
Right. He's getting – I've seen him photos of it. He looks like he's put on some beef, but – and then you can get into the whole athletics contract thing then. How many hits is he willing to take?
Exactly.
With a $5 million contract down the line, too. Does it start playing with his head?
How many am I willing to take?
How many is how many are his agent willing to let him take? Before the agent decides, we've had enough of you. Which
I thought it was funny. Again, the coach speak was Riley last week at one of the after practice talks said he's not sure that Kyler's only there for 1 year. Didn't take long for the agent to come out and go, it's very clear in his contract because that the A's got a hold of that and was like. What? But going, hey, he's only got 1 year. That's all.
Yeah, he didn't just get Bob the doorman, agent. He got, right. Scott Boras is the largest sports agent in the world. It's not. Pretty much if Scott Boras says that's the way it's going to be, that's
probably going to be the way it's going to be. Well, it just makes sense. He's not coming back. We talked about this. How's that going to look?
Yeah,
if he was coming back, he wouldn't have $5 million in his pocket right now.
No. But see. The other thing I look at in this is the surrounding cast, okay? And whatever quarterback is coming into a class of running backs, receivers, and offensive line. Let's just start with the running backs. Rodney Anderson and Trey Sermon are leading the pack. Everybody knows that. Everybody expected that. So you got two studs back there with plenty of experience from the year before, plenty of big game experience. Arguably, I think maybe one of the best backs at the end of the last year in the country. And Anderson, he should have gotten, if Oklahoma wins the Rose Bowl, he would have been the MVP. The dude was just unstoppable in that game.
Crazy.
But now there's talk about who's the third. Kennedy Brooks, TJ Pleasure, or Marcellus Sutton. What do you think, Rob?
I don't know. I mean,
It's almost unfair to the last three.
it really is.
It really. If look at, isn't it? It says a lot. It's almost scary to think that with the offense we've got coming back, with the receiving crew we have, running backs we know that can produce, and three that haven't really had a chance to produce yet, we could see numbers in excess of what we had last year or more. I mean, it could be a scary offense next year or the year after that than it was the last couple of years under Baker Mayfield.
The thing that they're saying, though, is the third guy in the rotation, it's not really a talent gap, it's an experience gap. It's those guys on the scale are all even. The coaches and other people are saying is looking towards Marcellus Sutton because he's more versatile than the other two. So, because the third guy in line still gets a lot of playing time at Oklahoma.
As I understand it, Kennedy Brooks is the fastest of the backs. I wonder if that includes TJ Pleasure, who's just now coming in. I don't really know. I think
that's the point too. I mean, two people you hardly ever hear their name, and they may be the two most talented overall running backs on the team if they just had the experience behind them.
Well, Abdul Adams was the fastest back that we had,
Right. And he sat down.
He's playing at Syracuse now.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens when you drop a ball against Ohio State.
you don't drop the ball at Oklahoma, or you transfer to Syracuse.
Yeah, yeah, or to A&M.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you got a quarterback who's got a running game. Obviously, we're going to have a running game because we got at least three backs. Then you have Hollywood Brown, CeeDee Lamb.
You better give some love to the O-line.
Hold on, we're going to.
Okay.
Cal Katera is now, they're stepping up, is probably the most, the best hands of the entire receiving corps. That's
Really?
Yep.
Who said that?
The coaching staff.
Calcaterra said it.
And he may be every bit as effective as Mark Andrews was. Calcaterra's a big old boy.
We'll see.
So there you go. You've got that receiving core. Okay. Let's see. CeeDee Lamb this year has been they're talking about he's been more physical, and you saw him. He put on 35 pounds in the offseason. And
Beast.
He's got like 0% body fat, and he is chiseled out of granite.
Like a young Scotty Stevens.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you throw in Drake Stoops. He is wowing everybody.
Really?
How did you pronounce his name?
It said Drake Stoops.
Oh, yeah, Drake Stoops. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think I said?
Well, it sounded weird. I don't know. I didn't really know what you said. I was just like, that's not his name.
But
And he got preferred walk-on status, right?
Yeah, preferred
Not a
walk.
scholarship player.
right, he's not a scholarship.
Doesn't need
Wow.
it.
Doesn't he?
Right.
He's got grants and loans and things like that. He
No,
can apply
sure.
for.
Yeah, Grant's alone.
He's going into debt with the university.
But the plays that I did see him make, I don't know if you've seen him, Scott. Fantastic. I mean, the kid is a baller.
No, I haven't seen him.
Oh yeah,
We got to
Yeah.
pull him up and show him to you.
But the comparison is already out there. I think they must have listened to our podcast last week, Rob. They're already making the comparison a lot like Welker and Cole Beasley.
Oh, yeah.
He ain't the fastest man, but he's a smart one. So
So one plays offense, one plays defense, correct?
yeah, I think one of them's a corner.
Yeah. One's
Yeah,
follow-
Isaac
One of them
Stoops,
follow
is that
Bob's.
right?
One of
Isaac?
them follow Bob's footsteps, and the other one as a receiver.
Yeah,
The receiver kid, though, apparently I wouldn't say he's more talented, but he's getting more recognition. How's
Right.
that? And
But he's making plays. The reason why he's making plays in the drills, the one-on-ones, and things like that, and so it's earning him spot in the rotation at playing time. With playing time,
yeah, a lot of people think he's going to get some heavy PT this year.
yeah. And then, not to pat myself on the back, but I called it. We talked about it when he was the late signee, the tight end, Braden Willis is making waves already.
I thought his name was Stogner.
No, the Stogner comes in next year.
Oh,
Braden Willis is the kid that, just went blank. See, Rob?
it's like 6'3", 250 or something.
Yeah, he played quarterback.
Right.
Because their quarterback got hurt. Mm-hmm. He was a late get. I can't think of the coach's name. Beamer went and got him. He was going to go to Georgia. When Beamer was at Georgia, when he came, Beamer went and got him, and they got him in the H-back slot right now. He said he's not as big as Dimitri Flowers, but he's very athletic, long, and big enough to be a real player there. So, called it. Just watching his stuff from high school, I was like, man, that kid is a beast.
Well, we got a fullback. We can move out to tight end if we need to. 6'5".
Carson Meyer.
Yeah, 6'5", 260 or something, wasn't he, Terry?
Yeah, big old boy. I think he's 6'5", 6'7", something like
Yeah,
that.
I almost feel sorry for those guys that play that H-back, fullback in Oklahoma. They do, I mean, all the way back to Ripkowski.
Oh, yeah.
So Ripkowski comes, I mean, all this stuff that they're able to do, you know, the jack of all trades kind of thing. But they really don't get the love. I mean, Ripkowski, I guess they love him in Green Bay.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I mean, I was really disappointed with, you know, how much attention Dimitri Flowers got out of the draft, because I thought somebody with that much talent, somebody's got to see it. And he's a steal at a non-drafted or a late draft, but I mean, I was really kind of disappointed. I really wanted.
But see, there's only very few teams that are really using the H-back anymore, and one is Green Bay. Green Bay still utilizes the H-back fullback, and I think it was Tampa. I was reading is still one of them that's utilizing them.
Yeah, where does Aaron Rodgers loves Ripkowski?
Oh yeah. Well, Dimitri Flowers should have got drafted just for the play against Texas, where he caught the ball and ran over two guys and ran in for a touchdown.
I don't know. I'm partial to the one where he against Ostank, where he caught the ball and then juked his cousin to the left.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he broke his ankle. How does a man that weighs 260 pounds or whatever he was juke somebody
his cousin
out of the shoes?
You would think his cousin would know his move.
Yeah, I know this kid's moves, man. I got it.
We've played together since we were 5.
Right.
You should know him. So, how worried are you, Scotty, about the offense next year?
I'm not.
You're not?
No, I think that it's kind of going to pick your poison kind of thing. I mean, really, if something doesn't work out, somebody gets injured, the talent that's there, it's going to be playtime only that's really going to dictate how good they really are. It's going to be the experience, I think.
Well, let me ask the real question then. How worried are you, sir, about the defense?
Until I see better, I'm going to be worried, but I already think we're better.
You already think we're better?
I think we're.
So you're drinking the Kool-Aid in the middle of August before they've even stepped on the field.
Look, you can't feel much worse. You know, I was at that game.
67.
I was at the Rose Bowl. I'm telling you, I had roll one at the 30-yard line, and I watched the whole thing collapse from the sidelines. Yeah, you can't. I mean, I can't feel any worse about it. I think they've recruited well. I think, first of all, Murray, I think coming in another year, because really kind of unfair the kind of position he was put in last year. You know, a lot was put on his shoulders in that middle linebacker position, and
which he's not playing this year.
As a freshman, that's a lot to put on somebody's shoulders,
right?
And then the new kid Hiles coming in, and I mean, I think that experience-wise by themselves, and it's going to be so much better. But the ones they've recruited, the freshmen coming in like Hiles, so, you know,
Buki.
Yeah, I see that kid. I see him playing early. Early. I've watched his tape, and man, it's ridiculous.
Well, see, here's what I like about the recruiting classes that we brought in the last, I guess, 2, especially on the defensive side. Word is, I've read it in more than one place, is that the newcomers, the freshmen and the sophomores, are pushing the upperclassmen more than they have in the last several years. So it's making those upperclassmen having to earn that spot. It's just not these guys that they're bringing in that are, bookies and these guys that are 5-star athletes that can walk in here and compete with you for your starting job is making everybody take notice.
Good.
And every position they're saying has a newcomer pushing for starting time or playing time.
Yeah.
So
And some of them are going to start.
yeah, some of them are going to start.
A lot of people say Bookie's going to start.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Of course, he may only come in the nickel package, but apparently we're intending on putting that in more often. So.
Yeah. I was trying. First off, I found some, heard some names I hadn't heard yet. Okay, because they're new, but we got some really good names on our defense. Addison Gums, Gumbs, Gums.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
Nick Bonito, he's a linebacker.
We saw him a little bit.
Yeah. And who was it? Rashawn White, who is a freshman, who is pushing people. And it looks like not only is he playing linebacker, he's playing nickelback.
Really?
Not the band.
Send me that photograph.
Well, and that's
Didn't
another.
think I knew that.
And that's another Caleb Kelly.
Yeah.
And like, I think that he should be your leader on there.
Right.
You shouldn't expect that out of Murray. Caleb Kelly should be your leader on the defense now.
He's definitely the leader in the gym.
He's got to step up.
You seen him?
I want to see him on the field. Step up
Good
and do
grief.
it. Yeah, that man's a beast. I've seen the tape, but yeah, I like some of the names you got. Rambo.
Yeah.
How can you not like Rambo if you're a kid of the 80s?
right?
Right?
But they're also saying that they've been out there in the nickel package with a linebacker, Rashawn White, and Buki in the backfield. Good God.
Yeah.
And Rashawn White's a 4-star linebacker out of high school. Come in. So not only is he playing linebacker, apparently they're dropping him back into that nickel, and there's a possibility we may see both of those guys in the defensive backfield. I want to see Buki hit. We've seen Buki do everything because they haven't really got to hit yet. Even in the spring game. I mean, there was some tackles, but there wasn't no, safety blitz from 30 yards back flying through the air.
Well, he's thicker, I think, than your average cornerback.
Yeah.
So I bet he can put a lick on you.
I think even if the defense is just a little bit better, gives the offense a little bit more cushion. Our offense doesn't have to be as good as it was the last couple of years to win those games. We just need the defense. And it's not going to be that, early 2000, 2001 defense like we had then. But, I mean, anything, get us up in the top 50. And
Well, last year we were 67, so you think in the top 50s?
right, top 50s, we won a national title last year.
Probably.
Yeah. Not probably.
That or not an onside kick that didn't happen. We probably win.
A squib
Yeah, squib kick.
that somebody, never mind. We don't talk about that game anymore. We stop. But they're calling our defensive line more aggressive with Neville Gallimore, Kenneth Mann, Amani Bledsoe, and
Ronnie
Overton.
Perkins? Oh, he's not playing.
Yeah.
He's out for the year.
Yeah. You're not getting Perkins
Thompson.
and Thompson.
Yep.
Michael Thompson. No, Jalen Redmond. Ronnie Perkins is playing.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie Perkins. Yeah,
it's Jalen Redmond.
Yeah, Jalen Redmond.
Yeah. Those two are out, which they were hoping would step in and push. They would have been pushing, but they're out for the season.
Yeah.
And they got Ronnie Perkins, Ron Tatum, Jordan Kelly could step up. I like what Thibodeau said about it. Says, man, they're learning right now. Their eyes are wide, cloudy mind, and slow feet. But so now they're calling it more aggressive defensive line. Is it they're bigger, meaner, and stronger,
I think so.
or the scheme is going to be more aggressive? 'Cause
No, I think it's personnel, but
I hope it's bigger, meaner.
I hope so too.
But
I really hope that that the last several years of the defensive players that we recruited was just an experiment gone bad, where we recruited to try to stop Big 12 offenses and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
It just didn't work.
We're going
Just didn't
back to
work.
big, mean, and ugly.
yeah. And
That means
No
I should be
offense.
playing.
No offense to ugly linemen out there. I'm just saying. It's just
When I worked for the team back in the spring of my freshman year, Neville Gallimore was someone that the coaches pushed really hard. And I think it's because they see a lot of potential in him. So I think he'll maybe making some plays this year.
And more talent and speed and size on the edge than they've had. Okay.
Definitely more size, but speed?
Talent. Yeah. And that's where Addison Gums comes in.
Huh.
God, I hope that's how you pronounce his name. It has to be Gumbs.
I hope so.
The G could be silent. The G could be silent.
They say he's a freak. He's different. His size and first step are really special. He's a huge talent. So, I guess he's a freshman. I didn't really get a chance to look him up.
I have to Google him on up.
But there's Motley, and then the two other guys, like I said, Ryan Jones and Nick Benito are very athletic coming off the edge. So we're trying to put as much speed and athleticism to make plays and to cover that much field space. And that Cali gives you the length in the middle that you want. He can, take up that.
And the stopping power.
Yeah,
right?
Stopping power. Because he's big enough now that you run a Volkswagen Bug into him, it should crack in two.
Right.
Guy's massive. You're right.
Yeah, if he were green, they'd call him Hulk.
All right.
Who do we have coming off? Honestly, I don't. I'm saying because I don't know who's coming off the edge now.
That's what they're saying. It's that Gums and Mark Jackson.
Okay, good.
Interesting.
So just keep them coming off the edge.
Yeah, not 10 yards back.
Yeah, stop. And
So-
it's funny. I was watching the Texas game the other day. They replayed the Texas game, and I counted every time Texas scored. It was when and if you remember the game, they almost had to carry Oboe off the field.
Yeah.
We
He
remember.
was so worn out.
Yeah.
But every time they scored, it was when Oboe had dropped back.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time when you watched it, he went with the tight end once, and the linebacker and him both picked up the tight end.
Yeah.
And the running back came around in a short little screen pass.
Yeah.
And off he was gone to the races, and just keep him
On the line.
rushing off the edge, man.
Oh,
No
yeah.
more of this dropping over our defensive ends or back into coverage. 'cause
We've
it's-
talked about that at length.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Just keep our
killing me.
rush ends in there.
And it was the same thing at Ohio State. I mean, and it frustrates the out of me. Sit back and watch these games again because I'm like, I'm picking this stuff up. It's just making me mad.
Yeah, you're sitting there, it's third down and 10, and we got three guys rushing the ball. And you're sitting there going, what everybody in
With a 12-yard cushion on the end.
everybody in Oklahoma is yelling, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we 10 yards off the ball? Why are we, why is there only three guys rushing? What are we going to do? So pack all this talent they're saying we have. It falls on Rob's favorite coach,
Gundy?
Mike Stoops.
Oh, Mike Stoops.
The success of the team, does it fall on the success of the defense this year?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again,
Did they just try the fake ball? They did. They just tried the fake ball trick.
They did.
It didn't work out.
We
Baseball.
did that once. We
There's
did
a
that
Strangers
once.
game on, and they're watching baseball
We
too.
did.
Interesting.
I think it's all defense. Again, I think you pick your weapon with the offense, right? With the quarterback.
Absolutely.
The talent's there. Anybody we have at quarterback can run
Yeah.
the offense. It's a matter of experience. It's kind of going to dictate it.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's going to be defense.
So the way I see it, if you want to simplify it, the offense, it looks like a Porsche, and the defense is like a old farm truck. I mean, it may have some strength. We're not sure. Maybe
It's like tow mater. Is that what you just
it's like Joe Mater. Yeah.
We just put in a new engine. Let's see what we can
You
do.
never know.
Yeah.
But so what do you think is going to happen the first game, Scotty? We're coming up. It's only 2 weeks away.
Well, that's Team Kiffin, right?
You got Team Kiffin, the Fighting Owls.
I think out of all three, that's the one that. Oh, did he go? He
Yeah.
did. Three-run bomb. I think that would be the one that scares me most.
Really?
Yeah, because he's talented.
Yeah.
He's a loudmouth, but he's talented. I haven't seen a time when I didn't want to punch him. He could be talking about anything, I want to hit him.
He could be
But
preaching. And
he's
you
a
could-
talented coach.
Yeah.
And he's got Florida players. And anytime you got a talent pool like that out of Florida, and he did some really amazing things last
Yeah.
year with the team that he had.
Well,
Yep.
and we talked about it the last couple of weeks, coming up that it's up there. I guarantee you, he wasn't there when
He
Oklahoma scheduled this game. There was no expectation of
Or this
Lane
game's
Kiffin.
not scheduled.
Or this game's not
It's
scheduled.
not scheduled.
Okay,
Yeah.
this became an afterthought of it was I guarantee it was a Schnellenberg tie-in. Oklahoma's going to play. Their stadium or field's named after Schnelly and all that stuff. And
Yeah. I think that he's got this, but he's got it. He doesn't have any choice now.
Yeah.
He's got to try to win this game, and it's going to he's going to try to make his name with it.
yeah.
I mean, a potential job opening up in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
He
you
might
come
win.
into Oklahoma your second year, first game, and beat Oklahoma. He's not going to be.
You
at
may
it.
move into the top 3 of that Big
Yeah.
Ten school. You might be looking for a coach real soon. With UCLA, don't really worry about UCLA this year. I think they'll be better next year. But Chip Kelly runs a specific type offense.
Yeah,
And it's an offense you have to recruit to try to get. You need that specific kind of quarterback and that specific kind of running back that's, that I think he's going to need to recruit first. So
Yeah.
next year at UCLA, I worry a little bit more than I do at
there
Oklahoma
are a
this year.
few more people there.
Army, I think, is tough. I think nationally we're going to beat them. I think we're going to win.
Is that the 1945 national champions?
Co-champions.
Co-champions. Okay.
according to the team in Prison Orange. But I think that with that offense,
Yeah,
it's a tough offense to stop. We proved that, but I think that the talent level, though, the
skilled and
the skill
everything,
level
it is eventually
going to dictate who wins the game. And
It may not be immediate though. It may take 3 quarters before Oklahoma pulls away from
it may
them.
take a little while, but in the end, it's going to be the athleticism that's going to win that.
Yeah, if their offensive line can keep us from penetrating, then yeah, it could go a while. But if we get in there, we're going to eat them up.
Yeah,
If we can smash that option,
Yeah.
in the backfield before it ever starts. If it gets to the outside, you might see a couple of runs, but I think that our athleticism alone is going to pretty much
yeah.
put a halt to Army. I think FAU.
What happens in week
most.
3 at Iowa State?
Riley's got that one scheduled. He's
I'm
got
sure.
that circled on the schedule.
I'm sure he does.
No mercy.
Iowa
Iowa State's got it circled on theirs as well.
I guarantee, and Iowa State is the only teams that that beat
Right.
Oklahoma and TCU last year in the Big 12. We beat TCU, but they're the only
But
other
their
team.
quarterback / linebacker graduated, right? A lot better knowing that he's
We hope so.
right. So
I like to pull the water boy in.
Yeah, they got some kid playing right now that
Right.
was playing intramural ball with his fraternity
the
last.
third string H back is. I want to see him hurt. Honestly, I don't want to hurt anybody,
Oh, I do.
but I want. I just want to embarrass them so bad. Remember when Les Miles was at Oklahoma State
Yeah.
and he had that pregame interview where he said, "We're going to show
yeah, one team's the number one
we're gonna
team,
show
and
who
one's
the
a real
real
good team.
number
Yeah.
one team in Oklahoma."
Won't play any sucker.
What was in? What was in? Like 68-3.
Right, it was bad.
That's what I want to happen to
Yeah,
Iowa State.
they want the because
And I like their coach. I do. I like him, but I want to hurt him.
Yeah,
bad.
but because that everybody, there may be even some Iowa fans show up in Ames to watch that game.
Yeah.
That tunnel or a hole they have dug out in the plains out there to play football in, it may have people stacked on the outside
that might be.
to watch that game because they believe it wasn't a fluke.
Oh,
Come on.
Dude, really? Come on, Rob.
They know it was a fluke. They know it. They got lucky. They know it.
They got lucky with a. Rob, you're wearing me out, man.
Here's what I hope. Here's what I hope that they think. I hope they kind of look at it like Oklahoma State does and goes, "This is that thing that happens on average once in 11
Yeah.
years. So let's enjoy it. Let's not expect it for about another dozen years." That's what I hope it is. So
It should be. It should be. But they're going to come in. You know that their fan base and that team is going to come into it fired up, ready to prove last year wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, I think we get through those first 4 games, and I think we're looking pretty good. I think we're going to smash the Horns.
I think so too.
And I want to. And I honestly, it doesn't matter how bad they are or how good we are. It's one of those games where I wake up and Paula, who's sitting beside me, says, "Hey, you want me to cook you some breakfast?" I'm like, I can't eat.
Yeah,
Don't ask me until the game's over because I can't eat, and I get angry. It doesn't matter how good we're doing. I'm angry all the time. But I think he might be. If he can find his way out up to if something happens at Ohio State, he'd be one of their
Herman
picks. I think.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he'd go in a hurry. I think he'd drop.
Well, I think he would go.
I think he'd drop that burn orange quick.
Yeah. Because Texas, I don't think is an easy place to coach. I mean, it seems to me like every time you see something go on down there, it's not the fan base, it's the cash people. That put the pressure on what they want to go on down there and how they want it to work.
Yeah, and I think that the tides have kind of changed though with the way scholarships run now. When you have to kind of level them out, even those lower tier schools like now we have FAU.
Yeah,
you have to even out the scholarships. So Texas doesn't get Texas to itself anymore. Right. Now, when North Texas or TCU is now equaling out their scholarships and they're getting players just as good as what the Longhorns are getting, I think they're it's kind of the tone. I think Texas's time as being the king of Texas, I think is in the past.
Yeah, I think so too. TCU's kind of taking that reign now, maybe even A&M. I don't know, but so that's a good question about Ohio State. Is Urban Meyer gone?
I think he has to be.
I think he has to be too. I think if it turns out that he that was brought to his attention in 2015, like they said, that's a Title IX violation. I don't think there's no choice.
Yeah.
He has to be gone. But at that point,
I think that's already decided, isn't it?
And then who touches him after that?
Because the word is that
somebody will.
A suspended with pay basically means
we're negotiating
away.
Yeah,
because they still have to, which I think is ridiculous. I think if something egregious as that, there's no negotiating. You lose everything that was in your contract. You're gone.
Right.
Okay.
What I find funny is all the stuff. When he was coaching in Florida, all the stuff that's coming out now that you're hearing about is the stuff that went on in Florida.
Yeah, what was the Hernandez, the mass murderer guy that killed?
Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, apparently he was in trouble all the time down there. It wasn't like he was a little.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're talking about stuff with the coaches now when he was down there. Before he had his quote unquote heart attack. Was it a heart attack? He said he had, right?
Something like that.
It was stress or
they're talking
anxiety.
About throwing things at players' faces. That's kind of like the Kansas lock 'em in the shed kind of stuff going on.
Wasn't that Texas Tech?
Yeah, they were talking about one kid blew out his quads, and now he's completely disabled. Now.
Yeah,
both quads were blown out, and making players stand out in the heat with 45-pound dumbbells over their head. And
that's what happened up in Maryland, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Is that I never heard that stuff until now when this stuff comes out about the coach and now all the stuff about Florida is coming up. If all that stuff in Florida is true or any bit of it is true, and then the stuff in Ohio State. I think he ends up, coaching in Canada and, in
somebody
Japan
big will
that.
take him out.
Who's that other coach coaching in Japan right now? Who's it? One of the. He's coaching in Asia.
Baylor's coach.
Yeah,
Browse.
He's coaching in Asia somewhere right now.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It's interesting to me that, like the Baylor stuff, and now here we are with the Ohio State stuff. That one mistake happens and it comes out, then all this crap starts falling out from 5 years ago. Where were all these people 5 years ago, and why weren't they saying? Is there that much pressure on the assistant coaches and their families to keep their mouths shut?
Yeah.
Hold up.
Hashtag my turn.
They got football in Asia.
Yes, they do.
Actually,
How you coach a bunch of little
Actually, the
Asians?
University of
offense,
Oklahoma
man.
has a coach that
has a coach that came here to learn.
I remember I seen that story.
yeah,
And they won back-to-back titles.
Yeah,
or
he
something.
has more national championships than Bob Stoops. He
Yep.
won 2.
That's wrong.
Even Bob said that.
But he has 3 rings because he got one of ours.
He got one of ours because he was part of their staff,
And Oklahoma State sent him one from 1945.
and he sent it back. But
I asked Terry, I said, how did we do in 1945? Maybe we want to claim some of that national title, but apparently we lost to somebody. So
Did y'all see the jokes about Bob Stoops being the replacement coach for Urban Meyer?
no,
There's a lot of jokes going around about how he was going to sign with Ohio State and how he was Ohio State's first choice. Would you forgive him if he went to Ohio State? Like, would you root for him?
You got to give him a little bit because he's from Ohio. But I heard they already talked to him, and he's pretty much said,
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I think-
I live in Norman, and I'm retired. Leave me alone. That's
yeah,
kind of what was told.
I think Bob Stoops is first on everybody's list, and I still believe this. I tweeted it out when it all came out on our podcast Twitter handle. Is Bob Stoops is everybody's first choice right now, and Oklahoma is still Bob Stoops' first choice. He has no desire, I don't think. I think if anybody has a chance to get him, that he might go, just for like what you were talking about, is Youngstown State. I think if Youngstown State said, "Hey,
Dad's old school."
yeah, where they're from, come up here and coach," he might do something like
But
that.
maybe that's probably after his sons graduate from here.
Yeah, right now it's at 4 years. I mean, he's not going to leave Norman right now with
I wouldn't.
2 sons at
No,
OU.
absolutely
So
not.
getting to watch one of them or both of them play.
And I'm sure he
he's not
saved
gonna
up
leave.
some money.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
He's got a
puts
buck or
away
two.
Yeah.
He's got a rainy day fund. So.
Yeah, you know,
he's got a little
he can
stash.
he can go down to Lake Murray every now and then for a weekend vacation to take the stress off. I think.
Sure. Yep.
You know.
It's so sad. My wife's been stalking him for years.
Well, he lives at Hogwarts Mansion. Yeah. I mean, good grief. Have you ever seen the place?
No.
Oh, you
You got to go by and see it tomorrow.
No, so to tell you the story, we keep talking about my impending resignation or retirement in several years, and about hey, if we get to move back to Norman, where we're going, she's like, wherever Bob Stoops lives. Wherever Bob Stoops buys a house, that's where we're going to buy a house.
Well, I guarantee you that the houses around where Bob Stoops built his castle or Hogwarts. We need to think of a name like Hogwarts or Stoopwarts or something like that, Rob. We need,
Stoopswarts.
the houses around there. I think were averaging. It was about $200,000. I think now they're all. The neighbors love him because their property values went through.
Well, all their houses can fit inside his.
So the only way I afford that house is Bob Stoops does go to Ohio State and doesn't own that house anymore. That's basically what you're telling me.
Yeah.
All right.
You'll have a couple extra rooms.
I'm sorry, honey.
But I just don't think he has. I don't think the desire is there. I mean, you don't just turn away from what if. As competitive as he has been his whole life and what he knew was happening with his offense and what they were doing with the defense, you don't walk away. I think he just went, this is it. This is the best time for me to walk away, and I'm done.
And I think he learned a lot from his dad.
Yeah.
I mean, his dad, what they said his dad was the same age when
He's
he
on the
retired.
sidelines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Dad
died
was
of a
the
heart
same
attack.
age, died of a heart attack. I think he mentioned his sons, playing high school football. Look, I missed a lot of their football.
He'd never been to one of their football
because
games.
I had, I was in the office watching tape on Friday nights when they were playing, and I should have been at the field. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think he wants to see his boys play, and I don't think he wants his legacy to be I died on the field coaching like my dad did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move. Yeah, he's where he belongs anyway.
Yeah.
He's a transplanted Okie now anyway. So
What?
I was just going to change subject.
Okay, change subject, Rob. Next subject.
So next year, Terry, we got to get our tickets to the UCLA game so that we can fly up there, stay with Scotty, and go to the UCLA game.
Okay.
Because I
Game
think
on.
there might be some roughnecks up there too.
There will probably
Unarmed.
be an appearance.
Unarmed rednecks.
I know.
Roughnecks. I said rednecks.
We get that more often.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah.
So will you drive us through Compton or what?
Well, I told Rhett and Rob if they decide to go, because Rhett's friends at the Rose Bowl, they wanted to drive to Compton for something. I'm like, no, you don't want to drive to
Just
Compton.
FYI, I've been to Watts.
Yeah, he has. So I told him we'll set them up a ride with some of my friends that work there and send them out. So he can say he did it, and trust me, it's a step up from Compton.
I'll tell you what you ought to do is set it up to where they, get some people that around somewhere and kick him out of the car.
Oh, yeah.
And he thinks he's in Watts.
So did I tell you what happened when we went up there? When I went to Watts with him, with Scotty?
Uh-uh.
So he's reaching down under the seat, like if you dropped a cup and it went under the seat or whatever. And he pulls out this great big cannon of a pistol. And he puts it in my lap, and he says, "If they come up to the window, just hold up the gun." And I'm like, "Is that going to happen? I mean, what? If I hold this gun up, they're just going to turn around and walk off, or are we talking about shootout in the OK Corral?" And this was on the edge of Watts. We weren't even in Watts, I think, at the time. So.
Yeah.
But to get to our station, you got to drive through the neighborhood. It's not like you drive off of a major from the freeway onto a major, and then the police station's right there. There's like 4 gang territories just exiting the freeway that you have to drive through to get there. So I had one, he had one, but I mean, as far as they know, he's the bearded white guy, in the car. They don't expect cops. So.
Listen, I am so white. I'm glowing. All right.
I may have told y'all that, but my dad, the closest story I had to that was when I was 15 years old. We went to St. Louis. It was just me and my dad. Okay, and I used to box, and we were going up there for the regional boxing tournament. And we missed our exit for the hotel in downtown. So I don't know where we got turned around to, but the neighborhood we were driving through. Remember National Lampoon's Vacation when they were in St. Louis? Mm-hmm. The cars on the side. People everywhere. That's the neighborhood we were driving through. Oh. Okay. And we're in a yellow Chevy Love pickup truck. And I'm in the passenger side.
And it's only a pickup truck because it didn't have a rear seat. That's that truck.
And my dad, being just who he is, he pulls up, and it was the funniest thing. He rolled down his window, and just like my dad always do, "Hey, fella. Yeah, you." I was looking around, all these guys on the corner looking. "No, you. Yeah, come here. Guy comes walking up, looking at him, wanted directions to the hotel, and the guy was like, "Yeah, man, just go up here, turn." But I was sitting there just like shaking. I'm like, "Dad, don't holler at these guys." He goes, we ain't going to get out of here if I don't get directions. So, but the guys were looking at him like he was completely insane in this little yellow Chevy Love pickup, hollering at him to come over. Yeah. Come here. And they were like, "What?"
My mom's driven out here 3 times, got lost, or more than 3 times, but at least 3 times she's got lost. And shingled up in Compton one time, and in Inglewood the next time. And I'm to this day I can't tell you how she got there. On Inglewood, and she told me she rolled up the window, and my sister was with her, and some lady in the parking lot talking, "You better roll up that window, bitch." So you're sitting there hugging around in the floorboard of the car.
So Inglewood is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So note to self, Rob.
It's called Inglewatts, is what we call it.
Inglewatts. Okay.
But see, here I was proud of myself. My son didn't think, and his wife didn't think it was too big of a deal. But when we were out there over the 4th of July out in California, me and Teresa, we were out at
Palmdale.
Yeah, they live in Palmdale. And we had gone out. We went and did the Hollywood thing, and we went out to Santa Monica Pier. 11:30 at night, we start driving back, okay, from Santa Monica back to Palmdale. All the way from the pier through L.A., back into Palmdale, straight to my son's house, and no GPS. I did it. And I walked in, and I was like, "No GPS." And Dave was like, "Well, it's only like 2 highways that you got to get on."
Mic dropped on those. It's 2 highways, but it's about 75 miles.
Yeah. That was my point. It was still, I just knew, I saw the 405. I said, "Well, I know the 405 goes to San Diego and to Sacramento, so it'll get off somewhere at a Palmdale."
That's right.
I was proud. He was just like, "It's not that big a deal, Dad."
I was lost the whole time, so I'm definitely not going to hate on you.
Yeah, Robin mentioned that before the Rose Bowl. He goes, yeah, Terry's going out there. His son lives in L.A. I'm like, "Hey, we're at in L.A. He's Palmdale." I'm like, "Dude, that's not
that's LA.
Barely California. You're closer to Nevada than you are to L.A.
Yeah, you actually are. You're right on the backside of the mountain range." And he did it again while we were out there. Me and Rob don't do heights. I can't stand heights. Okay. And when
Is that why you don't like to fly?
Well, yeah.
The falling out
That
of
I'm
the
a
sky
big,
part. Yeah.
big fat guy.
but when we went to the Rose Bowl, he used his GPS. Okay. And he said, well, Dad, it's taking us on a 2-lane highway through here. Okay, it took us through the Los Angeles National Park Road Highway, which is about as wide as that love seat.
Yeah.
Up
So
through
you did this a lot.
through the mountains.
Yeah.
I get vertigo when I'm in stuff like that. I gave Caleb, my other son who was riding with us, he about freaked out because I was freaking out. Holding the seat. See, and he said, well, that's how it's taken us. Okay, so we go back. We're going down to the racetrack down there. They had a big Orient.
Santa Anita.
Yeah, Santa Anita. They had that big Orient festival there. We went to that. Okay. He was like, Dad, you're going to be mad. It's taking us over the mountains again. I was like, you don't have to drive over those mountains. You can go the highway. It's how the GPS is taking us. Asshole. I was so mad. So mad. Drove up because some of those
And you probably drove 3 times as far as you normally would.
because you're through this.
Nothing goes straight in the mountains.
And, you're like, okay, everything's fine. And then you notice that, 700 foot high, you can, on the next mountain, there's the road and you can see a car come down. I was like, I got to get up that high. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's laughing the whole way, and I'm just sitting back there in the back seat with my eyes closed and my head down. My 2-year-old granddaughter reaching over going, Papa, it's okay. I'm here. I'm like, okay.
We're covered about a 3-year-old.
Yeah. But yeah, that highway is literally, and there's no guardrails.
No.
Yeah.
No, they pull people out of those canyons all the time, just so you know, in case you ever decide to drive down the canyon. Right? That took Robert and them the scenic route.
And then, Mulholland Drive, okay?
Yeah, same way.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I found that out on one of them damn buses, okay? One of them vans, okay? And they talk about...
Did you do the See the Stars home?
Oh, yeah. That's a ripoff.
Man, you're a tourist. It's like the van with no top on it.
Yeah, van with no top on it, yeah. But what got me was...
What stars' houses did you get to see?
Well, hold on. Let me finish this first, is that there is nothing Hollywood Hills and Beverly Hills. There's no hills. They're mountains, okay? It's not, hills are in southeastern Oklahoma, little bumps.
Yeah.
Okay? These are mountains. Saw Drew Carey's house. I saw the house in Lethal Weapon, the glass house from Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
Saw it. I saw the roof of, what's his name?
By the way, Lethal Weapon's one of the best Christmas movies ever.
Oh, yeah. Quentin Tarantino's, they showed us, that's his house up there. You can see that, like the left side of the awning sticking out from the trees. Yeah, you couldn't see much of it. When we're about halfway through, I'm like, this is a joke. I was thinking we would pull up to their houses. No. They're like, if you look over there, it's the third white roof on the side of the hill, 3/4 the way up on the left. What? I can't see.
Take you to Elvis's old house, and they go, see that pink wall? That's his garage.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
So here's the thing: I could care less about doing that, but I definitely went by the Breaking Bad house in not Arizona,
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yep.
But no, I think we didn't really see anybody's. Robert De Niro's house you could see, but except he had a big tree in the front.
Purple pansy.
Yeah.
That'd be like going to Tulsa and seeing like the Outsiders' house.
Yeah.
The Outsiders.
Yeah.
Where they all live. It'd be like visiting Oklahoma and going and see their house.
But
We're going and seeing the Texas Chainsaw House in Pampa, Texas.
Pampa, yeah.
But
Because it's still standing.
I mean, it's a scenic drive. I mean, if you want to go up in the mountains and look off and see a long ways, you can.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me, the biggest thing, where I talked to Rob about there, is that Dodger Stadium is built on top of a mountain.
Yeah, they just dug the top out.
Yeah, they just thought, I never knew that. Well, you climb up, driving up a mountain, and you come in, and it's a big bowl, and there's it's like, they built this thing on the top of a damn mountain. You go look off the parking lot, and it's a long ways down.
Yeah, they emptied the dirt off on the side where they all park. Now it's right across from the police academy. The big dirt hill. That's where they dumped all the dirt.
Wow.
Yeah, which again, by the way, thank you for the tickets. We had a blast.
You're welcome.
But yeah, that's the first thing I text Robert. I said, "You know this stadium's on a damn mountain." It's
at night. It's a good view, though. You through downtown, but if you can get through the smog during the day, you can see.
Yeah,
maybe Chinatown.
But I mean, it's a neat atmosphere. Dodger fans are kind of nuts.
I think it's one of those. Yeah, well, ask San Francisco Giants fans how
Yeah.
they feel about it. I think it's one of those places. As a baseball fan, it's one of those places you have to go. You know,
David was wearing his Sooner gear. There were some other people with Sooner gear, so we got some boomers yelled at us, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I get that a lot out there. You know, every now and then. But Dodgers fans, yeah, they are nuts.
Yeah.
They're
But what I liked about the stadium really was the center field. You know, the old scoreboards. They're still
it's the old scoreboard.
But there's the video screens in them, so you might be watching with half the head.
Yeah,
cut
you get 3/4 of the head. The rest of it's cut
But
off.
it's cool that they left it that 70s or 60s mid-century modern.
late 60s.
Yeah, but it's a really cool stadium. But still haven't seen the Coliseum. But I got to go through one of those places to see it, right? The Compton
Yeah, there's. It's kind of tricky to get to if you don't know where you're going because you get end up in the wrong place real quick. They're renovating it right now. There was a big debate, you know, when the Rams and the Chargers needed a place to play. You know, where were they going to play and that sort of thing. They wanted to try to bring back, of course, the Raiders. to L.A. at one point. They were going to redo the Coliseum, but it was falling apart to begin with. I mean, it's not like I went to Wrigley Field when I was in Chicago, and it's like stepping back in time.
Yeah.
And you can go to the Coliseum, and you can say it's like stepping back in time, but it's stepping back into really bad times with a puddle and a urinal that's falling off the wall. There was nothing. I mean,
the old cotton bowl, right?
Yeah, inside of it was a mess.
Yeah,
and they never did anything with it. So they're renovating it now, and I mean, I don't ever care to go there unless OU's playing there.
Which one is in the middle of the ghetto, USC or UCLA?
USC. Okay. UCLA's in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's in Westwood. Yeah,
it's right across the street from Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Sandra Bullock will put us up for the night or something.
Maybe.
And you're like, hey, Sandra.
Maybe.
Knock on the door. You know?
Knock on the door. Hey, baby.
Right?
And maybe they'll be having the NCAA beach volleyball tournament out
well,
there.
Well, that's all. You know, it's always a bonus if you can get that in there at the same time. So I'm just saying. Big beach volleyball fan.
Ooh, that's a busy week right there.
So are you going to get to make it to any games back here, you think? Or
not till next year, probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, not till next year. I don't think. If I get lucky, I mean, like I said, I got a couple buddies that have season tickets. So if something drops out of their lap and I can make it out here in time, I'd like to go to a couple. But I mean, there's 7 home games. There's a lot.
There's
this year.
Yeah,
I think next year, I'm probably closer to next year. And then again, hopefully you guys can make it out for the UCLA game.
Yeah,
make a whole weekend out of that. And
Rhett, what game are you guys as Roughnecks? What home game are you looking forward to doing as a Roughneck
this year?
Yeah,
I think. Man, that's a tough one. I think FAU is probably one that we're really excited for, just because we think it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, we're excited for Bedlam. That's going to be really awesome. A couple of people are making the trip up to West Virginia to go see that game because we've heard that it's just like one of the best football gaming experiences you can have is at West Virginia Stadium, and I might be able to make it, so we'll see. But yeah, I would say Bedlam and FAU are probably the 2 most anticipated games for the Roughnecks.
The West Virginia games only the weeks they're not playing OU because so far they haven't beaten them.
I'm looking forward to the Army game here because I know how the university always does something when they have one of the academies. That's just going to be neat. It's going to be a night game, and so I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
I think that'll be
a lot
nice.
of fun.
I think
it'll be a cool thing.
The university will do that one up really good. But again, we looked it up earlier. When was the last time they played? What I say, 61?
61.
Last time they played.
Yeah, and what was the largest margin of victory in the OU Army series?
It was like 10 points.
10 points.
10 or 17.
Yeah.
21 to 6.
So do we break that this year?
Oh yeah, I think we break that this year. But I'm with you. I think Army. I think it'll just the tradition. I think it's always not. I think the university will do something good for the military folks.
And you have to. I mean, and the fans will. I know because those guys aren't just getting an education paid for; they're also giving up.
Yeah, they're dedicating a lot, and they're students and they're athletes, but they're mostly students.
Yeah.
They don't get to put in the time on the football field that the other D1.
Yeah, I watched one of those 30 on 30s, and they were following some of the the military guys, the cadets and stuff in there. There is no way.
Yeah, and that's another aspect to look at is remember, Army and Navy are two of the least penalized teams in college football.
Very disciplined.
So it's not a team that's going to beat themselves.
Yeah.
You're going to beat them, and we're probably going to be just out of the athleticism, but they're not going to make the mistakes that you want them to make to try to beat them.
Yeah. And they're methodical about it too. They're very
time-consuming and methodical.
Because I think I watched that Army Navy game last year when it was snowing. That game lasted like an hour and a half because they threw the ball once.
Yeah, exactly.
It was
to a tight end, I think.
Yeah, and it was literally just like, holy crap, this game is over already.
The snow was the most exciting part of that.
I agree.
Oh yeah, it wasn't as good as the pro game last year. The Bills game where they had like knee-deep snow.
Oh, yeah, they kept having to shovel.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I remember playing in the backyard like that.
I always wanted to play in deep snow like that.
But in Oklahoma, we only got to play in rain and
ice-hard ground.
Had to go out and, before the game, throw the rocks off the field so it didn't, nobody skint a knee or something like that. But, Rhett, you got anything you want to share? Anything else you want to...
No, I don't think so.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
All right. You remembered to talk this time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rob?
All good.
All good. Scotty?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me out. I appreciate it.
Thanks
it's good
for
to be
coming.
back home. Feels good being home.
Well,
and honey, I'm sorry I said home. But I'm glad to be home.
All right. Well, that's it for today's podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Jay.
Boomer Rhett.
Boomer.
And Boomer Scotty.
Boomer.
Thanks for listening to the Sooner Football Fans Podcast. If you want to be on the podcast and talk Sooner football with us, go to www.soonerfootballfans.com. Click on the How to Be on the Podcast tab, fill out the form, and we'll get you on. Boomer.